We're back. Episode 121, I believe. Not a scam like the phone call you just got.
Not a scam.
Your social security number is compromised.
Yeah,
take two because don't know what happened there. But we were both sincerely apologizing. I'm not going to apologize again. That was a very sincere apology that we did not get an episode out on Monday after committing to Mondays.
Right.
But you missed take one, so the sincere apologies gone.
Yeah. We called an audible. Here we are. It's a Wednesday. But we did have this show planned, so let's just stick to it.
And we have a couple more planned, and we don't want to rush one just to get out. Like today, there's a lot happening, plus there's a guest coming on. So Obviously, if you click this, you now know IMAR is coming on, which is going to be fun.
We'll see.
Yeah, it could get interesting. He did say he wants to ask me questions about the pond. So I said, that's okay. Nice. I've got a couple questions for you, too.
It could get a little contentious. Let's go.
Correct. So we've got that coming up. I guess we'll start with the fact that you've been all over the media. A lot of people out there talking about Cenzo. And you've been a little busy.
We'll have a much better idea of what is going on with me in the next few days here.
Okay.
I'm just kind of starting to figure it out myself. As of right now, I'm still in State College in my house. So that's where I'll be for the time being, and then we'll get cracking here soon.
The bachelor pad.
Big Greg's in here somewhere.
Is he?
Yeah.
Now, did you guys have a practice today?
Wednesday we're off.
Off day, Wednesday. Yeah. Actually, it's IMAR's off day too. It must be like a universal thing.
I think people.
There's no wrestling on Wednesdays.
People are just getting smarter.
So before we get to our guests, there's a couple things we'll talk about. One is a real quick note that Florida is a bunch of cowards.
What happened there?
So a year ago today, 13-0 vote to sanction girls wrestling. 1 year later today, they go, nah, girls beach volleyball instead. Just a straight up reversal.
Why does it have to be one or the other?
Who knows?
I just don't understand that.
I don't either. And Florida's going to get blown up now. The wrestling community does not take that stuff lightly.
Funding? I can't see beach volleyball being a super.
The article cited a lack of participation, which is a bunch of crap. It seems like the numbers are.
It's a year old, so
correct. But it seems like there's a lot of interest, and I don't know how real that is. Is it schools that aren't participating yet and saying they don't care to try? I don't know. But either way, there was enough interest there that you approved it a year ago. Now to just negate that and say, nah, girls beach volleyball, that's as big of a scam as the Olympics, 10 weights to 6 for, as Willie says, too. Pogo and everything else.
Yeah, I forget what he was saying the other day. BMX, Pogo.
Yeah.
All that fun stuff. Side note, something completely unrelated. Bo Bartlett just gave me a little fade today.
I just saw the Instagram.
Not too bad, right?
Yeah, because you did forget that we were recording today.
100% forgot.
So then when
we said, a lot of stuff going on.
Right. So, and I saw your story and I'm like, that doesn't look like his house. So he's got to be at least a little bit away.
Yeah, 5 minutes down the road. But I did that in mind knowing that I'd be back in time.
Right. For sure.
Yeah. Some I set more up beforehand too. So
some more drama. Fresno State.
Yeah, that sucks.
The Fresno Bee put out an article, this whole thing to kind of smear the Fresno State wrestling staff. The whole high level overview is Joe Colon, who was an assistant coach. His girlfriend loaned a wrestler $300, $350 to be exact, to pay off parking tickets so that he could commit to the season or register for classes for the season or for the school year. And now they're saying this violates this, that. Dude, it's $300.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I mean, that is a violation, but I don't think obviously it shouldn't be, but.
And I think the reason they're doing it is because they still have to pay Steiner through 2023, and he's making $125,000 a year. So basically, they do this, that gets them to get out of his contract. They save $250,000. So this is more than just a rules violation. This is
let's save some money.
Yeah.
Get this guy out of here.
It kind of erases the hope for me that Fresno State will reinstate wrestling. If there was any, it didn't seem like there was a lot, but after this, it's Now you're like engaging in a battle with the wrestling community. This just doesn't end well. So that's kind of a scam. It's going to be interesting to see how it plays out. But
Excessive.
Wrestling Twitter is definitely just
going crazy with it. Yeah,
they're running wild.
Mm-hmm.
They're running wild, and I think there's
wrestling Twitter will always support wrestling Twitter.
Yeah,
that's one thing I love about. Unless you're a Paul brother, then no,
yeah, they'll tear you apart. We do not want you. Wrestling Twitter is very selective.
I'll take them.
Yeah, you can't. I think they ran with the fact that the card said Logan Paul was a D1 wrestler, which he wasn't. So I think they ran with that, but like he was a very good high school wrestler.
Did you watch that fight?
No.
Oh man.
Did you?
Yeah, of course.
How was it?
It actually, the card wasn't bad. Watching Nacho Cinco mix it up was kind of cool. But
I saw the highlights of that.
Yeah, no, I was happy. $50 well spent.
Yeah, now Jake Paul, Tyrone Woodley, that's kind of got me a little bit more interested in Jake Paul, Ben Askren, because I think Woodley is not as retired as Ben was, where Ben just had hip surgery.
Mm-hmm.
I think Woodley is going to be a good fight. I think it's going to be interesting to see.
I think so too. He definitely has better hands, but he's still wrestling background.
Yeah.
So we'll just have to wait and see.
Speaking of wrestling background, there's some wrestling yesterday and today.
Sure is.
Finals are actually about to start. So no Soriano, just nobody really knows why. I got word that he was still in Arizona, and then I saw photographic evidence that he was still in Arizona.
Oh, okay.
So
can confirm
he never left Arizona. It didn't look like he was sick. Like no COVID, no injury. So I don't know if that was a change of mind. I don't know if that was Turkey bailed last minute. I think that was after he made his decision not to go. But it was definitely a small pool. Like NATO wrestled and I want to say got tacked initially.
Straight up, I haven't watched any wrestling from Poland.
Okay, so he got tacked. I want to say the pool is really small, 57. So I don't know why Soriano. Like I just got like 100 comments on Instagram that like, why isn't Soriano wrestling? I don't know. Nobody really knows. Yeah. He's just a man of mystery.
We got to ask Pat Minia. He'll probably have a pretty good idea.
I'm surprised he hasn't posted the excuse or the reason yet.
The excuse.
Yeah.
The reason.
Yeah. So Jaden Cox lost to a guy who he was, I believe, at the Bill Farrell the last time you went, 2019, Bill Farrell. And he lost to Derringer. I believe he's lost to Downey, Rich Perry. He's had a number of losses. And Jaden lost a close one to him. I don't really know what to make of it. He lost like 2-1, I want to say.
Well, I will make a reason for Jaden, and that's that we haven't really seen him on the mat in a while. So I think this is just kind of knock off the dust tournament for him.
It makes sense.
Yeah.
Yanni Joey. So Yanni lost. Air quotes, he lost.
See, I need to go watch that because that's what I've heard.
That the refereeing is just.
He wrestled Musakayev, right?
Yep.
His
and
boy.
Musakayev won 7-6, allegedly.
Allegedly.
But Ivan Freestyle Wrestling posted out a video, like kind of showing the refereeing and how it was so questionable. It doesn't make sense. And then
why does that happen to him all the time?
I think because he's such a scrambler and it like makes it so subjective, and these refs can't handle it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
These refs just can't handle it.
He just gets in goofy positions.
And what the heck's his name? Musakayev? Yeah. I always forget these guys' names. He didn't come back to wrestle again. He just forfeited the next match. So now Yanni's wrestling in the gold medal match.
Let's go, Yanni.
Like he broke Yanni, or Yanni broke him. I mean, like
right.
I forgot who it was. Callie Gray maybe said that like he was singlet down trying to catch his breath for like 30 minutes after the match. I don't know if that's just like she's like so like pro Cornell. I don't know if she's just trash talking or if it's like
no, I believe her, man.
I do too.
She knows what she's talking about. Yeah, she knows what she's talking about. And like that's what happens whenever Yanni and that guy wrestle.
Yeah.
Every other time or any other time that dude gets on the mat. he gets after it and then he's just done.
I know. So that was very frustrating. That I think they would have wrestled again in the finals.
Okay.
The way the round robin works. So I was kind of bummed that he didn't wrestle again because I think
Yeah.
Yanni and him would have wrestled again. In the but I still don't understand how round robin works. Like I still don't get it. Like
whenever I was wrestling in Fargo, back in the good old days, we had the it wasn't like a bracket, it was like the wall chart or whatever it was, and they pair you up to the person next to you. It goes by points. So like you get a decisions 3 points, tech 4 points, and then pin 5 points. And then if you score a match in a point, if you score a point in a match, you get 1 point, even if you lose. So point system.
Yeah, I wonder if that's how they're doing this.
Probably, that's what I would guess.
Our boy Nolf lost a close one. Oh, so then Yanni wrestled Joey.
Yeah.
In 15-4, I want to say it was.
Yeah, I have a few matches I need to go back and watch, but that's one of them. I need to watch Nolf. I need to watch. I watched a little bit of Pantaleo and James Green. Pantaleo had an awesome tournament, by the way.
He's on a tear. He is just on a tear lately. He's hungry. He looks good.
He beat freaking Haji Aliyev, and then he beat James Green. Those are huge wins. Yeah.
70 kilos is going to be so interesting at the World Team Trials this year.
Yeah.
I think you're going to have some 65 kilo guys going up. I think you're going to have.
You'll have guys go up, guys go down. It's going to be super interesting.
That's going to be fun. Nolf, I don't really know what happened to him. He lost a close one.
Mm-hmm. The guy he wrestled, he was a like 2-time Asia Games champ.
Yeah, he was a good wrestler, no doubt. Yeah. Nolf just looked a little off. I don't know if it was just.
It's his first time wrestling overseas too.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Wow. I didn't know that. I thought he wrestled at one of the tournaments.
He wrestled in Canada. It's not overseas.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what I'm thinking of.
He wrestled one match and it was like 30 seconds.
That was at Pan Am's last year, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so that was interesting. Gwiz looked good. I'm really shocked at the Jaden losing.
Yeah, I mean, it happens. Though.
Like you said, it makes sense. Like I think as a fan, you look at it and just think somebody who's really good is somebody who's really good, and they're going to perform every time. And you kind of,
some days you wake up and you feel worse than other days.
Yeah, without a doubt.
That's everybody else too.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, some days I'm just like ready to go, and some days it takes me longer to.
Like, some days it's 1 cup of coffee. Some days it's 7.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, do you think it's that much of a difference when you're wrestling at a high level? Like, how you feel? Like, what percentage of that goes into the results, do you think? Like, how you're feeling that day?
I think somewhat it does. You got to be able to turn it off and turn it on. There's some people that are way better at it than others. I know some people that they need to get their sleep. They need to, have
Nick Lee. You can say Nick.
They need to be on their regimen. But like, if Nick Lee has a bad night of sleep, though, that's not gonna like mess him up to go wrestle. He's not gonna be thinking about that. Some people will be thinking about that while they're out there competing or just like warming up. Like, oh man, like I'm not feeling my best.
Yeah, and like, cause Jaden like posted this morning, like feeling great, feeling blessed. Let's wrestle, quick feet. Right. Like it seemed like. But then obviously when you're in a match, it's a different, because I can wake up and say, I feel great today. And then 30 minutes into, working, I'm like, I'm hopping on the pond.
And that boy he wrestled too could have, just been wrestling out of his mind today.
Correct.
Who knows? It could be a combination of a lot of things.
And I do want to say that guy was previously down at 86 when he lost. So maybe 86 was too much of a cut for him. Maybe he's just a better wrestler at 92.
All I know is if those guys are wrestling at like the world championships, I'm taking Jaden every time.
Oh yeah,
like no doubt.
Yeah, well and Nate Jackson's looked incredibly well. He lost, he was up, and then he ended up losing. He lost in the semis, but
Nate's been tearing it up too, man.
Nate and Jaden are gonna put on a show if they wrestle, I think, at the World Team Trials. And I don't think either one of them are planning on wrestling again until then.
Yeah.
Unless there's a card that pops up that... Like next week, I thought... So when I alluded to there was a card, I had heard about Burroughs and IMAR wrestling, and I thought Flo was going to make a card out of it. Instead, it's just Burroughs and IMAR at the end of a Flo grappling card.
That's fine. We'll take it.
Yeah, like that's a great match. He's about
I'm down to watch some grappling.
Oh,
Oh,
before he joins the show,
all right. Hold on, real quick.
we got to tell people.
All right, so support for today's episode comes from Manscaped. Father's Day is just around the corner. I'm sure everybody knows that. And you probably need a gift for your hairy dad. I sure do. Make sure your dad I'm messing. I'm butchering this right now. Make your
promo
dad
code Cenzo.
Make your dad proud this year and get him and yourself the Manscaped Lawnmower 4.0 and Ultra Smooth package. You know what they say, like father, like son. The brand new Lawnmower 4.0 and Ultra Smooth package is perfect for you and the dad in your life to complete your grooming game. Get 20% off plus free shipping. Promo code Cenzo, CENZO at manscaped.com.
Guys, go support them. You need a groomer. Support Manscaped.
I got this little flag in. I haven't hung it up yet because I need to get some nails, but yeah.
We got it. Yeah, we're gonna make some. We're working on it.
It says your balls will thank you, and they will.
They will. So go to Manscaped, get a Lawnmower 4.0,
get a weed whacker,
get a little weed whacker here,
get some cologne, get some ball deodorant.
Correct. Get it all. Get the boxers. Cenzo's a big fan of the boxers.
I love the boxers.
Yeah, they're smooth.
They are.
They're smooth. So thank you, Manscaped, for continuing to support this podcast. Go support them, guys. And now we have IMAR. And by the way, guys, this podcast, as always, is brought to you by Attack, ATAC. If you haven't downloaded the Attack app, the thing is phenomenal. This thing is like
money.
It's the workout app you need. It has like mentality improvements, it has workouts, it has technique, it has reflection, it has like the total package. It's not just workouts, it's not just technique.
Reese Humphrey teaches you how to be an athlete,
a freak athlete, right?
What else could you possibly want?
Yeah, that's what you need. So download the Attack app, follow them on social, atac.app. Go look at their feed on Instagram, or go to their Instagram page and you'll see it. It looks really cool. They've done a great job trying to convey what the app is. So I'm excited for Attack. Go download Attack. Try to beat me on the leaderboard. I broke my toe last week, so I haven't been like logging.
You broke your toe, dude? I think I broke my thumb yesterday. It's pretty swollen, but not.
I went to walk in the garage and I accidentally just kicked the thing, and it's broke.
All right, well, so you're excited for Attack. I'm excited for Isaiah Martinez versus Jordan Burroughs.
I'm very excited for that.
Yeah, can we talk about that a little bit? How'd that come up? Like, how did they just reach out to you?
So Justin, actually they we were looking to get a match in probably, I think it was sometime in February. Didn't really work out with the timing and scheduling. So
I remember the money tweet. Pay us.
Yeah. They did a good job. So it didn't really work out then. They circled back later on, and the timing kind of worked out. So we're gonna get this match in.
Let's go.
I love to see that when you have the number 1 and 2 guys at a weight, and the comments initially were like, it was almost like shock that you guys were both agreeing to wrestle each other 3 months before the trials. Everybody's like, wow, I'm so surprised. Like, was there any hesitation to wrestling? Like, I don't think it's so soon, but I'm not an athlete, so I don't know what I know. But was there any hesitation because the trials are in a couple months?
I think the benefit of having a match now kind of outweighs, the negatives of having another fill, having another out. So, in my mind, it was not that big of a deal. I've always been kind of the guy that gets better the more times I wrestle somebody. So I don't know how he was thinking, but for me, it was a no-brainer.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I figured too. I figured you would take the match, but I was kind of surprised by him. What's the difference between your training situation now as to before?
Well, so now I'm a full-time coach.
Right.
I'm a lot more busy. Luckily for this time of the year, it's pretty slow with our guys. They're just finishing up their finals. So we're not having practice every single day where I'm having to wake up at 6 o'clock and test and then have like a full work schedule. It's a little bit more lax right now. One thing that kind of threw a wrench into it was that the recruiting dead period ended. So immediately once it ended, we started hitting the road. But it's still a lot less than it would be, say, in like, January in the thick of things.
Yeah. And the last time you came on this podcast, which if you don't know Isaiah's story, that was an amazing episode of the podcast. Go back and listen to that episode. But you had said that that was basically when you announced you were having surgery on your shoulder. And I know when we were texting, you had some complications just kind of adjusting to it and you weren't able to wrestle at the trials. What went into that?
Yeah. So I never ever had surgery. Very first time I ever had surgery.
Oh, wow.
That's wild.
Yeah.
I know. Everyone keeps saying that, that I was
not even like a meniscus or anything like that. Not just like a cleanup.
No, nothing.
Wow.
Even I had surgery for my adenoids to be taken out. Everybody has surgery.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I just never had any time to rest. I was always kind of doing something.
Never had time to realize you were hurt.
Adrenaline going.
So it was the very first time I had, a little bit of time off, I was thinking back on the past several years and the issues that I've had with my body. I was like, oh man, this it's probably not right that I'm having to get propped up with a bunch of pillows every night. It's probably not it's probably not normal to feel I know as a wrestler you everyone says hey, you feel like you're aging in dog years. But I was like, man, I felt like I was 60 years old, waking up every day, just groaning, oh, come on, let's get ourselves ready for this. So I thought about it and I was like, you know what, I probably should get that taken care of because I probably can't do that for another 4 years if I tried.
Yeah, that's wild.
Mm-hmm. And I kind of understand where you're coming from. I haven't had any surgeries like that right now, but I've had to take a lot of time off. We've had guys here that are kind of banged up or just we've guys here that are taking almost a year off now, just trying to get their body in check and healthy and stuff. It's a grind, man.
And it is,
Sport's brutal.
It really was a process, right? So going into the surgery, I was terrified to be put under. Honestly, I'm talking to the doctor. I'm like, what are you guys going to exactly do? I was probably the worst patient they've ever experienced. Just because as an athlete, you're kind of a control freak when it comes to your body and those kind of things. So, the recovery process was real hard on me. Just not for the first time in my life, not being able to wrestle, moving across the country, taking on new responsibilities, having to learn an entirely new craft. Cause being an athlete and being a coach at the Division I level is very different, right? A lot of times you assume that, a good wrestler would be a good coach just by the experiences they've had. That's not all that goes into it. The X's and O's when it comes to the coaching game is very easy, for a good wrestler. But there's so much more that goes into being a Division I coach than just the X's and O's.
And what happened with it in relating to the trials?
I just kept having setback after setback. Honestly, I had surgery in late June and I wasn't going to be cleared until late January. I started trying to wrestle late November. I don't know why, but it was I was man, I was feeling better. I didn't go out there and scrap right away, but I was listen, maybe I could fill it out a little bit. I started feeling a little bit of that pressure. The trials are coming up. I got to get ready. Right. And it was just setback after setback. Every time I would move forward, take, one step forward, 2 steps back. It just kept happening. And I kind of kept compounding. And when the time came, I as an athlete, if you're ready to go or not,
right.
Whether you want to admit it or not.
Uh-huh.
And when the time came, I was just man, I'm still dealing with the shoulder. I'm still, not physically where I need to be. So it was the right decision to kind of just well, that's kind of life and it happens. But yeah, that's kind of what went behind that decision. I wasn't physically ready to go.
Yeah, and especially in a tournament like that, you're gonna be when you're ready to go, man. That first round draw you had would have been tough too. That would have been something. But yeah, bro.
Yeah, that's a wild. And then I know we were talking about that was part of also the reason to go up to 79. Obviously, it's more of a natural fit for you, but still at the same time, like cutting weight and doing all that post surgery had to be like a completely new feel. So I'm imagining you're making a ton of decisions all at once, really.
Yeah, no, so 79 is probably a better spot for me right now. Even though, even I competed at the Open and it was my first time making any sort of weight ever, and it honestly was the worst weight cut I've ever had in my entire life. I'm not,
No way.
I am not like
For 79, dude.
I know. I was like, this should be easy, no big problem. I get down to weight and my body's like, it's been a year and 8 months since I've had to do anything like that. Like
Yeah.
it was just like, what are we doing here, buddy? So I didn't have a great performance, but again, it was one of those things. It's like, I'm glad I went out and competed because again, I didn't have to go out and compete, right? I was already competed. I was already, qualified for the trials and everything, but just to kind of feel that sting again, that the to do things right, have to enforce myself to do things right. You have to learn from those things. So not a great experience, but I'm glad I did it.
Yeah, it was probably like one of those things like at 79, like I'm not that big. This will be easy. And
Oh
then
man,
you get there, and then you start getting the weight down. You're like, well, this is not coming off how I thought it was going to. I've been there before.
Yeah, well, also I'm getting a little bit older, right? I'm not
Yeah.
old, 26, but at the same time in wrestling, your body changes fast, ages fast. So yeah, had to learn that one the hard way.
Where do you think you stand now, ready wise? Obviously, the main goal is to make the world team 79 kilos early September. But you had the test at the Open. Now you're going to have Burroughs
Yeah.
10 days. Where do you think you're at right now?
So I was actually just talking to Chris about this yesterday because he's been running my workouts in my lead up to this match. Man, I feel so much better, and I'm probably not even where I'm going to be when the trials come around, but like when I compare it to where I was at the Open, I feel like 100 times better, honestly.
Hell yeah.
Wow.
Like going into the Open, and Vincenzo, you probably know this, right? Like like when you're feeling like optimal, you're like, this. I feel great. I feel amazing. And then there's those times where you're like, I'll probably win, but I'm probably gonna have to gut this one out.
Right. Yeah. You're like, my legs just aren't working. So
Right. So that's I was like that gut out feeling. I was feeling that like at the Open. Right now, I'm feeling a lot more optimal, a lot better. So just I feel better, and I guess it's a better frame of mind that I'm in right now, and physically, because my preparation's a lot better. So I feel pretty good about it right now.
Where do you think you are in relation? You actually beat.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead, Cenzo.
No, I was gonna say the last time we really saw you, other than the Open, was that best of 3 series with Burroughs, and just like, and I think that was super competitive. You won one of the matches. I think a lot of people, including myself, thought you were gonna take that last one. Just like, can you talk about a little bit, just where you're gonna go from there?
Yeah, so I tried not to okay, you'd never forget those kind of experiences, right?
Right.
But I tried not to base the next match so much on what happened the last time we wrestled. It's been a long time.
It has, yeah.
I'm different. He's different. I'm more so thinking about the adjustments that I'm going to make. Okay, how do I go about winning this match, right? It's you assess the scenario, like it's a one match situation, and yes, I understand that we're going to have more matches in the future potentially, but still want to win this one, right?
Of course.
It's just important as still want to win this one. It's just as important as all the other ones. So I try not to base, too much on our previous matchup, but you never forget those things, right? So I remember how I beat him. I remember, the way I went about it. Trying to replicate that, but also trying to be ready for, the differences I see in the film that I watch with them, right? Or the differences in the way that I've been developing my technique. So I guess it's kind of a very general and overview answer, but that's kind of how I view it. I guess the takeaway would be like, yes, I remember how I beat him, but at the same time, I can't rely on that because he
Right.
also understands that.
Yeah, not every match is going to be the same.
Yeah.
He's going to adapt as well. So, in match adjustments, things like that.
Well, luckily, it'll just be one match and won't have to make too many adjustments. So it stopped recording. It let us know when it stopped recording.
Oh,
so
Yeah.
okay.
Once you left,
And
once
now
you
it's
left, it stopped,
recording
but we're
again.
back on now.
Did it say like
Yeah.
this thing's okay? All right, so we'll
Yeah,
just
it did.
we'll just keep rolling. Did we go back to
The-
2017 yet, or are we still talking 2019?
Well, we had a lot of really good off-camera dialogue while you were gone. So.
Oh yeah. So since it started, since it started recording again, Justin, you got to do your plug. You got to do the Attack app plug again and let everybody know.
Guys, this is brought to you by Attack. Attack.app on social. ATAC app. Go download it. Listen to it. So,
Do you have that on a note card? That's pretty good.
no, I
it's just all off the dome.
yeah, you got to just remember it. And
Okay.
I love the app,
Unless
so I
it's me
think it's
doing a
good.
Manscaped ad.
Yeah, Manscaped.
Yeah.
We got to look at they have like copy. Attack. I just
have like a
believe in. So what?
I believe
don't-
in Manscaped too, but it's just a lot of information.
So I don't know what happened and why that got booted. I don't know if my internet died. I switched over to my phone as a hotspot because I literally don't know what happened.
That'll probably do it.
Where did you guys continue the dialogue we were talking about, or did you guys just go?
Oh, we just went off on a bunch of tangents.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think we kind of went down the rabbit hole a little bit without you.
Okay.
No,
Let-
I think we just finished up talking about. Vincenzo asked me like, what did I take away from that 3-match series? And
yeah.
going into that, my memory's not great, but I think we kind of finished that conversation right then and there.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
All right, let's go back to 2017.
We could recap the whole show. Yeah.
Hope that recorded. So
What was
2017.
2017. What happened in 20? I don't even remember.
2017
What was 2017?
was 2016, 2017. Cenzo's freshman year.
Oh, that 2017.
That's
That's
2017.
2017.
So Isaiah wins 2 matches. You were a 2-time champ that year, right? Previously,
I was going into 2017. Yes, I was a 2-time NCAA champion.
and you beat Cenzo both, I think, in the season and Big Tens.
In the duel, yeah, we were at Rec Hall, right?
Yeah, was that rack?
Yeah, that I remember that one because
That was the only
does
match we
Cenzo,
wrestled where there was
sure.
a leg attack where there was a leg attack takedown.
something like that. I don't remember.
No, that was the only
Was
that was the only match me and you wrestled where someone scored from a leg attack.
Was it you or me?
It was you, yeah. That was,
No, you guys.
He
in my
knew
life.
the answer.
It was
He knew
you,
that
yeah.
one.
I got to your legs at the end and didn't finish.
No, because I scored on a slide by.
Did you? Shit, maybe there. What if there was no leg attack takedowns ever?
No, there was a leg attack at the Big Ten match. That was the high crotch that I scored.
Okay, maybe that was it then.
No, the first match we had was
It was a slide by.
basically boxing for like a minute and a half.
Mhm.
And then it was a slide by.
A lot of our matches were boxing.
A little bit. You're kind of hard. You're hard to score on.
Yeah, so are
but
you.
Yeah, no. So yeah, the first match we had was at Rec Hall,
Mhm.
and it was like a 1-point match.
Yeah.
Vincenzo was in late, and then I kind of like cartwheeled, and I think I got a go behind right at the end.
Probably.
But yeah, it was
Sounds
like
about right.
I remember it being a real tight match.
Yeah. I don't know.
And then Big Tens, I think, was a tight match too.
It wasn't.
Was not as close.
It wasn't. Nah.
No.
Was it the next year? I remember there was a Big Tens match where it was like 1-1 going into
So,
like that was
that
2018.
match at Big Tens, I got poked in the eye like in the very beginning of the match, and I couldn't see out of my right eye.
I remember that you were bleeding out of your eye. I was like, yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't do it on purpose, but like,
No, you didn't.
I'll
It's just part of the game, man. So after that match, I spent like 3 hours in the ER just like waiting to get my eye looked at. It was miserable.
That's the
Wow.
worst.
That was the
Did they-
worst. That was the worst part of that match for sure.
What did they end up saying about your eye?
You got a scratch. You'll be okay. I was like, yeah, I know. Like, I know. Like, I didn't need to be here at all. But
So
shout
before,
out shout out Adam Lynch for waiting with me at the ER for 3 hours.
he's a team player, that Adam.
He's the man.
So 2017, you win 2 matches, and then going into the NCAA's, what was your thought process? Actually, what was both your thought process going into the 2017 finals?
You want to go first, Vincenzo, or I'll go first?
I'll just say I'll go first. Mine was pretty much just make it a fight, just like you said. It felt like a boxing match. I was like, if I go down, I'm gonna go down swinging. That's really it.
It's a good way to look at it.
Yeah.
Shoot, I don't even remember. Honestly, trying to think about how I went into that tournament. I mean, so you try to put yourself in my shoes a little bit. I was a 2-time returning champion. I was like, okay, I'm gonna,
I've been in your shoes actually.
Yeah.
The year after. Yeah.
You're like, okay, I've done this twice before. Let's just go do it again, right?
Right.
You understand who's there at the weight. You understand I mean, we're in the Big Ten, so we wrestle each other all the time. So you know the guys are tough, but at the same time, you're pretty confident that you're gonna win it, right?
Yeah.
So I think going in, I was more just don't mess up, and you should win, right? You got to go in aggressive and do everything that you do, but at the same time, you're like, if I just do everything that I'm supposed to do, I should win no matter what, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of how I went into it a little bit.
And then at what point in the match did you guys Cenzo, did you all of a sudden start getting more confident in the match? Or was it the same approach through the other ones? Because all of a sudden it's I mean, for me, I posted the photo, I know one of you doesn't like that I posted it, but it is one of my favorite post-match photos because Cenzo's he's not that emotional in the mat, and he just always looks like you're having fun, but you just kind of roll back and you see this excitement. As a Penn State fan, that for me was one of my favorite post-match celebrations because you didn't, and it was still early in your career, but you were never one who showed too much emotion. You and Nolf kind of just winning was 100% the expectation, and when you won, you did what you were supposed to do. But that one was
yeah, I don't know. Listen, it's definitely a little awkward talking about this with my man Isaiah on, but it's I don't know. I just okay, fair enough. I was excited. That's really it. I kind of surprised myself a little bit. No, but it was pretty much as we were wrestling, like you said, we both, get after a hard hand fight, and you could just kind of feel things throughout the match. And, I felt that I was going to be in there. Really, that's it. I felt like it was going to be more competitive that time than the other times we wrestled.
Yeah. I think, that match, I think going in, I was a little more nervous than I should have been. Mm-hmm. Right. I think in the back room, I wasn't as, cool, calm, like I should be. I think it just the nature of the NCAA tournament, it's probably a 3-day event like that. It is very, very hard to navigate through. And, in the match, I think did I score the first takedown? I think I scored the first takedown. But it was so when I knew things were going to go wrong for me, I scored a takedown and you got away immediately. And I'm like,
well, Casey even challenged it because his hands touched for 1 second and they gave you the takedown. And Casey's like, nah, challenge. but they ended up giving it to you.
Slide by again or something like that. But anyways, you got away right away. And I put a lot of effort into scoring that point. And I'm like, when a guy gets back up to their feet right away and they're right back in your face, and you're like, oh no.
Yeah.
You're like, I'm a little more tired than I should be right now, or something, or panic, whatever that feeling is. But I mean, you capitalized, man. It was a great match, and you should have been excited. Listen. That's the one biggest takeaway I've ever had from college wrestling and the NCAA championships is it doesn't matter how good you are, you're never guaranteed anything at the tournament. It is coming back.
It's a tough tournament to win.
Yeah, going back this year as a coach, like, I realize just how many things have to go right for a guy to win that tournament, right? I think when you're in it, you take it for granted a little bit.
Sure do, yeah. And that's just kind of like I kind of did that, my junior year. Just kind of, I wasn't, I wasn't even really nervous my junior year at all when I was wrestling. I think I was too not nervous. I think I was like too chill.
Okay.
I got like a little cocky on us. I was like, this will be easy.
I've been there too.
I was like, Martinez isn't even here. This will be a breeze. And then yeah.
I mean, there's always somebody, like,
always someone.
Crazy. It's crazy how tough that tournament is.
It really is. And then, like, especially whenever you're the guy, everyone wants to beat you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you get everyone's best. It's everyone, like, they're taking all the information from anybody that's ever done well against you, and they're like adding that to their game. That was something that I struggled with too. I mean, even going into my sophomore year, it's like when I was a freshman, like, everything worked really well because nobody really game planned or strategized, or they didn't really have enough information to strategize. But the second you're on the radar and somebody does anything that does well against you, like, coaches are smart. They pick up on that and they'll be like, hey, maybe you should grab his right wrist. Like, he struggled with this against whoever. And then all of a sudden everybody's doing the things that potentially could beat you.
Good coaching, good scouting.
Yeah. So then what do you guys think was it's almost bizarre how it happened again the next year, where Isaiah, you take Big Tens again, and then Cenzo, you take NCAAs again. Were the mindsets the same going into that year or different from the previous one?
Do you want to go?
I was pretty much the same for me, man. I had going into nationals, obviously, I never Big Ten. People, like, haha, it's funny, but, like, I wish I would have won Big Tens. Like, that kind of sucks, but it is what it is. But yeah, I had the same attitude going into nationals as I did the year before. If I'm gonna go down, I'm gonna go down swinging. Let's make it a fight. That's really it.
So I think my mentality did kind of change a little bit. I think the reason why I was so consistent during the season is I was a creature of habit, right? Like, I never missed like a scheduled match. I always prepared the same way, cut my weight the same way, right? So it led to very consistent performances, but it was also a little bit of a trap for me, right? I relied on what I knew a lot. But going into that NCAA championship, somewhere between, actually, this is probably funny. I probably never said this publicly. Like, the reason I think I lost that finals match is because that was the very first time I realized how old I was getting in wrestling.
Dude, I did that too, man.
I blamed Alex Marinelli in that semifinals match for just yanking on me. And so
headbutt you a bunch. Yeah.
I was like, oh, I'm gonna have to gut this one out. I was like, oh man, I'm not feeling great, but I'm gonna try to gut this one out. And obviously, you were more game than I was, and it showed.
Yeah, man, I was I don't know that match. The thing that won me that match was whenever you tried to grand me out at the end of the first period.
I don't know. You guys had a good game plan for that, like Navy ride that you guys started doing.
Yeah.
It was super annoying to get away. You guys. I mean, and I think you had great coaching. Like, you.
Oh yeah.
You guys. So I never asked you, but one thing that I was always curious about is, like, you guys always switched up one or two things right before we would wrestle, right? Like at the end of the year. Am I right or am I wrong? Like, the game plan switched just a little bit, just those small things.
I think if it was maybe not switching the game plan, but probably just executing it better.
Yeah.
That's probably what it was. Just, making sure that, so if I'm wrestling you, I know you're coming at me with your left side, like, real hard. So I'm going to try to keep my right hand down, so that you can't really attack my legs with your left. I can down block that. And, I know you're coming under hook here real hard. So, keeping sealing this side off will help a ton with that. And then I can work with my other hand.
Yeah, I guess that is what it was, right? Like, the execution of what you wanted to do was like
Yeah.
it was on point.
Yeah. It's just being super present.
Mm-hmm.
It's really it. Just not really relaxing for a second.
Well,
It's hard to it's hard to do that.
We had some great matches, man.
We did. We really have. And you know, I'm still losing the series 3-2 right now. So we'll have to run it back at some point.
Maybe if you are you wrestling at the trials?
I haven't decided yet.
You haven't decided?
Yeah, I haven't decided yet. So I mean, probably,
Mm-hmm.
but 79 is a little too big for me at the moment. So
You think so?
yeah, I've gotten a little smaller since college. Actually, I'd actually consider going down a weight before going up.
Get out of here. There's no way you can make 70 kilos.
Oh yeah.
No, get out there. You're gonna. Oh, that'd be rough.
Dude, I can make it.
No, I don't think. I don't think you could.
I can make it. Listen, for the Olympic trials, like that week, like I weighed out after a workout at 159.
Maybe
you can.
Still, I think that's rough. That's gonna be a rough cut. Well, I mean,
I'm not saying I'm doing it or committing to it at all. Saying, as at this moment right now, maybe in 2 months I'll be way closer to 79 than I will be 70. So
yeah,
who knows?
We'll have some more matches. That'd be awesome.
Who knows?
Or maybe a catch weight match on a card. You know, these RTC cards.
I'm always down.
Yeah, me too. I mean, I'm pretty sure. I forgot if I got approached to do a match potentially. I think we did. I think I did get approached to do a match like way in like winter time, and I was like,
"You're still hurt." Yeah.
I wasn't ready to go.
Yeah. That's just it. I've taken matches not ready to go, and it came to bite me in the butt. So
it'd be cool to see that match freestyle now, though. After like watching the series in folk style, it'd be cool definitely to see it freestyle.
Yeah,
I'd love to wrestle. I mean, I'd love to wrestle anytime. I mean, now that I'm a lot more prepared, but you're also saying 79 kilos might be a little too big for you. I'm like, I'm not.
He's like, I'm not going anywhere. That's the lowest you're going now.
That's as low as I'm going to go right now for the foreseeable future.
Hey, let me ask you this: you said you're like a creature of habit.
If you feel comfortable,
what? Oh, what I was going to say is
good.
Like,
go ahead.
You said you feel like you're like a creature of habit. And now that you're not like 100% just going through the athlete routine because you're also coaching, do you feel that coaching gives you kind of that mental break where you don't overthink or overfocus on something?
Sometimes, no, not really. I mean, if you want to do your job good, and like I love coaching, and I do try to apply the way I think about wrestling to my coaching, right? Like you want to be as good as you possibly can be. You want to perfect your craft. So sometimes, when you're trying to do that with coaching, it could be a little stressful because again, you can't control athletes. You can't control the way, someone lives their life or the decisions they make out there on the mat, right? But you could always try to do your best, and that, constantly having to, put your best foot forward it can be a little stressful. So, but then again, when I get around my athletes and we're all joking and I see them have success, I don't know if that's a mental break, but it's incredibly rewarding. In the same way I find, winning a wrestling match rewarding. So I guess that's what it does for me mentally.
Cool. It's just competing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've heard.
Also, when I go out there, I'm like, beat up on some of my athletes. They do make me feel good. Wow, how'd you do that? What was that? I'm like, dude, that's just a sweet single. I got it.
I love wrestling with like the college guys and stuff too, and then just like oh, like you, like I forget. I was wrestling with Joe Lee like 2 days ago, and he's like you have like you're getting like a jujitsu feel. I was like, dude, I don't do jujitsu. I'm just messing with you. Like that's really it. Oh man. But so what I was gonna ask, if you are cool sharing this, like what do you walk around at now if you're, big 79 guy?
Right now I walk around about anywhere from 190 to 195. Like nice. That's on average.
Cool.
When I was making 74 kilograms, I was walking around about 182. Okay. So I'm about 10 pounds heavier than I would be.
That sounds about right. I feel like that's a good place to be for that.
Yeah, I would want to, like, I think as I get closer to the trials, start walking around about 185
Yeah.
for 479 kilos. I think I feel better in the mid 80s. So yeah.
Yeah, it's like it's a weird, like, line you got to find. You want to be able to cut some weight, but not like a ton where you feel like shit.
Yeah.
Because I've done both ends of that, where being too small and being too big, and they both suck. Like, you got to find that sweet spot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can't attest to cutting weight, but
The big
what you're saying makes sense.
You're on my list of top 5 American wrestlers
I
of
know.
all time.
I'm gonna wrestle with Eric so that we can get a true order.
Is it you, Thompson, LG, Pat Minio, and who else did I put on there? Oh, Kerrigan Conan.
I don't know if I'm.
You guys remember Kerrigan Conan?
Yeah.
I only know from like people's horror stories. I don't really. I never spoken to the dude, but like.
Oh no, I know the name
from,
strictly from Twitter.
He posted this technique video like 5 years ago called the surfboard, and it was like, I just remember this because he was like, yeah, you flatten the guy out, and he like sat on this dude's back like crisscross applesauce almost, and then like grabbed his arms and like rolled him over, and I was like, that's the weirdest, craziest thing I've ever seen.
That's genius.
Yeah.
People loved it.
Innovation, man. Like that's the new wave for wrestling.
Yeah.
Hey Justin, tell me about your pond, dude. You post about it every single day. So, and if anyone that actually knows me, I'm pretty big into outdoor stuff. I'm like number one fanboy on Justin Basch's like pond management project.
It's funny. I don't post nearly as much as I want to because people say I'm so obsessed. So there's even a whole nother level that I don't like. I was out there today on a boat because the lights for the fountain were getting like crud. It was getting some kind of residue from the fish food that was breaking down and clogging the lights or blocking the lights. So I was out there pulling cattails and wiping off the fountain lights today. And just like, I'm like, what is this life? I have a little inflatable boat that my buddy gave me so I can go all around the pond, but it's fully stocked now. It's 11 feet deep. It's got largemouth bass. It's got bluegill. It's got fathead minnows. It's got, I don't know, dozen pounds of crayfish in there. So it's got, like, we started from the beginning really making an ecosystem where you have all the right chemicals in there, the beneficial bacteria, but it's learning about it. Like I grew up fishing the Thousand Islands, which was a big fishing region around here, and I loved fishing all growing up. So now to have the pond and to be able to maintain it, and it's just learning about it. Like you see something stupid or you hear something, you start asking questions, you start figuring it out. And now I'm like becoming the ultimate pond enthusiast. Like I never saw it coming.
You're the pond guy.
I'm a little concerned because your water is so blue that it looks like a swimming pool.
It's pond dye.
I'm like, did you dye it?
Yeah, it's a
pond
dye.
Dye?
It's a pond dye that it's pond dye true blue shade. So it's actually a dye you put in that not only dyes the water so it looks good, but it also blocks UV to cut down on excessive algae and to keep some of the UV away from the fish. So that's like
and like that's safe for the fish.
100% safe.
Just live and die.
So it looks like the Caribbean blue. Like it does. It looks a little unnaturally blue.
Yeah,
I know. And
but anyway, it seems like you do a great job with it. You need to start your own podcast on pond management.
Yeah, the one that I'm not a part of.
Isaiah will be my co-host on that one. Just
you guys can work. You guys can pond talk. Yeah.
But yeah, it's been fun. I always said when I built this house or built a house, I wanted to do a pond, and that kind of happened. We needed a bunch of fill. We needed the dirt. So while we had people here, had a guy in the excavator, it was, all right, let's dig this. So it just kind of worked out, and it's kind of learning as we go. And I'm actually this afternoon going to put more pond dye in because that's what happens. It goes from true blue color and it fades to a Caribbean color, and then it'll eventually like wear out. So I got to put more in it so it maintains that true blue lake color. We don't want no Caribbean water.
I think Caribbean water looks cool.
It just looks unnatural. So it kind of like
It looks a little unnatural.
I think the True Blue looks a little unnatural too.
And everybody, like the FedEx guy, the mailman, it's a 400-foot driveway. So if they have a package, they'll just drive up the driveway and they go, dude, do you mind me asking how you get your pond that color? And I just show them. I literally keep the pond dye right next to the garage door because everybody asks. I'm like, this is it. This is it. It's pond dye.
So when will it be fishable? About a year and a half?
Yeah, probably next year sometime. I mean, the bass we put in there are like 4 inches, and they should probably grow like 2 to 3 inches a year, I want to say. So I'd say by next
Really?
year.
I thought after 1 year, they're probably about around a pound, right?
Yeah, that sounds right.
This is just.
I feel like you're gonna take such good care of that pond, though. You're not gonna be on it though. You're gonna like pull something out and feel guilty about it.
No, I think as long as you use hooks that aren't barbed, that are just like you catch them, you throw them back in. That's what I want it for. When we start having kids and we can have have our kids go down there and fish the pond, like that 100%.
Cool.
Yeah, that's
awesome.
And now it's a matter of like I've got endless dreams. Like I'd love to have a water feature that goes down into it. I want to build a little dock. Like
you're gonna start
my life now.
Instead of like adding on to your house, you're gonna start taking parts of your house like away to just make the pond bigger, just like expand the pond.
Well, the house is built, so now it's
a
just,
great idea.
I don't see why not. Maybe just
we got to add docks. We got to add water features. We got to add, maybe we get an excavator and like make it a little bigger. This is my life now.
Yeah.
This is what happens.
You probably had so much fun with that. I don't know.
Construction equipment's the best. We've had so much here over the past year. It's just when you see construction equipment pull in and you know it's about to happen, like this is your 30s. Like this is what happens in your 30s. Construction equipment pulls in and you get so excited. Like that is like the high. It doesn't get better than this in your 30s, at least for me.
That's awesome. Well, I'm glad you're enjoying it.
Hey, me too.
I think someday that now that my daughter's on the way, right? Once we.
Oh, congrats!
Oh yeah, thank you. Yeah.
And don't you follow him on Instagram? He's got it on Instagram where
I'm going to now though.
When he's got to make these weird food runs for his wife, got to make sure she has what she needs.
Oh yeah.
He does a good job of it. When's the due date, by the way?
It's actually due on my birthday, September 2nd.
That's wild.
Wow. So, yeah. And the weekend of the World Team Trials.
Yep.
Oh, boy.
So, what a weekend.
So, we're hoping she comes like a week early.
I bet.
Yeah. I guess that date's just kind of a rough estimation, but like,
yeah.
Anissa's all on board. She wasn't very happy when she first found out. I'm not gonna lie. She was not very like, she was more like, she's kind of a worrier. So she was like, what if you're not there for the baby? What if you're not there for the delivery? What are we gonna do? But then after like a day or so, she kind of thought about it. She's like, hey, I think if the baby does come during that week, you better win, right? You better not waste our time. You better go out there and win. But the more we talk to the doctor, they're fairly certain the baby will be due like maybe a week after, because it's her first pregnancy. I'm keeping my fingers crossed because I want to be there for that. I don't want to be out wrestling. Honestly, it's for the first time in my life. It's like I'd rather be somewhere else than be competing. So genuinely mean that.
That's awesome.
So I'm hoping she could hold on for a week longer.
Just tell her to hold it, man.
Yeah.
Did you watch The Office?
I don't know if it works that way, so I'll try doing that. I tried telling her that at first. I'm like, don't worry about it, but she,
it's like in The Office when they don't want Pam to go to the office, so they try delaying labor and they sit there and try all these techniques.
Right.
I think Burroughs actually missed World Cup one year, I think, because one of his kids was being born.
I think so. Yeah.
Oh,
I don't remember when that was though.
Yeah, maybe 3-4 years ago. It had to be Aura. All right. Well, that's the most of what I got.
That's all I got too.
Isaiah, any final words?
What's that?
Any final words?
No? Huh? I got any final words?
Oh, I have one more question. How do you drink your coffee? Don't say you don't drink coffee.
Huh?
Don't say
Well,
you don't drink coffee.
I do drink. I do drink coffee, but I typically just drink espresso.
Oh.
I'll slam like 4 of them. Just
Super respectable. Super
Yeah.
respectable. I'm okay with that.
Are you an espresso machine guy?
We have one in the office, so I guess
There you go.
I'll just make like 4 of them and just take to the dome.
And you're
Wow.
like this all day, just bouncing off the wall. That's why you beat up all your college guys. 'Cause you
Well,
just-
Caffeine doesn't
Yeah.
really affect me that much, so I have a pretty high tolerance.
there you go.
Sweet. All right. Isaiah, thank you for coming on.
Everybody
That is
tune in
episode
to
121.
Isaiah Martinez versus Jordan Burroughs in
Thank
what,
you
10
for the
days?
plug.
Yes.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
June 18th, right? On Flow
Yeah,
Grappling.
it'll be on Flow Grappling, which I think it's awesome, right?
Yeah, that's super cool.
Cross-platform match. I've already had a bunch of like grapplers follow me on Instagram.
Let's go.
That's cool.
Pretty cool. You know what? The grapplers love wrestling.
Yeah.
So I think it's a good opportunity to get people invested in our sport. So it'll be good.
Yeah, sweet.
Awesome.
June 18th. Who's number 1 on Flow Grappling? IMAR JB. Awesome, guys. See ya.
See ya.
And the beat goes on.